Welcome to Unveiling Africa again. And sorry for the last time, we had some technical difficulties. So we might have to do a repeat, but this is better. This is so much, much better. You know, we're all ready and we're doing the same colors and everything.
Yes, yeah.
So Happy New Year. And you're my first guest for 2021. So you'll bring me some good luck.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without further ado, I'd like to introduce to my guests and my audience and viewers, Alaja Nymat Akashat Zibiri. So tell us a little bit about who is Alaja and where you come from.
Okay, so first of all, I'm not an Alaja yet. Not been to the Hajj yet.
Okay,
Yes,
we're praying for you maybe this year.
Yes, I'm praying myself too. Okay. And my name is Nymat Akashat Zibiri. Mm-hmm. I'm a lawyer and the co-host on Your View on TVC. Wow. I'm a rice merchant.
Wow, I like that.
Rice distributor, yes. And the distributor of many other things. I'm an entrepreneur generally because I dabble into a lot of things as well. Yes. So I'd like to say I'm a mother of two, wife, and very family grounded person. Yeah.
You come from in Nigeria since my audience family.
Yes, I'm a proud descendant of the Afolabi tribe.
Wow.
For girl. I speak the Afolabi language. My ancestors are the Akokias from South Ibie Kingdom in Edo State, yes. Wow. From Isako West in Edo State. Yes.
Wow. And may I say that that's close to where I come from too. I'm from Agenibode. So
How are you?
Okay. So Nymat Akashat Zibiri Esquire is a Muslim lady, Hijab advocate, a wife, like she just said, a mother too, lawyer, and a TV co-host for the Your View, which is an internationally recognized TV breakfast show in Lagos, Nigeria. So welcome to Unveiling Africa. We are so delighted to have you with us this morning. And my first guest for the year, I'm so excited. I couldn't have had a better person. So what does your name mean? Because since we're in Unveiling Africa, we try to teach our audience. Yeah.
Let me just take my names again. So I am Nima, or fully Nymat Allah. Holo. Afolabi-Brown. Akashat, and then Zibiri by marriage. Wow. So my name Nima means the favor of Allah. That's why it's longer as Nymat Allah, short for favors or blessings. So it can be used, interchangeably. And Afolabi-Brown means, a flowing river cannot pass me by. My portion of it doesn't flow past me. And thanks to my great grand aunt for giving me that name. Yeah. I'm like I said the other interview, I'm a third girl in my family line. So my mother's first child was a girl, second girl, and I'm the third girl. After me was a boy, but before then there was drama. So everybody wondered why girls. Can't she do something about it? The way the mentality was in those days. My father loved me. My father, maybe he wanted to compensate for it. He overdid the loving. So yes, we really wanted. He's always been proud of me, and he showed that love from my birth. And so he used to call me Holo, which is mother named me, meaning barrenness is worse than a girl child.
That's these names mean so very much.
They mean so much. Africans, we give names around a reason. We give names around circumstances. So that's how I ended up with Holo. But because I grew up in Lagos, I was born and bred in Lagos. The Lagosians and the Yoruba tribe people murder that name a lot.
I know, I can imagine.
But officially, if you want to address me in any of my official documents, you'll find Holo, because my father was always proud of calling me his name. He had some emotions around it. May God shield him from trials in the grave. So he used to call Holo a lot. So that's the meaning of Holo then. Akashat, of course, is another Muslim name, just like Nymat. I can't find the meaning. It's a very old name of one of the companions of the Prophet.
Wow.
At the times of the Prophet. Then, or Akokia. I don't know. I didn't meet my ancestor. I don't know. I'm from my clan in EBA is called ODBA. They are supposed to be migrants from the Esan Kingdom. Okay. So we have that. Yes, we have that. So Akokia must be an Esan word.
Okay.
So find the meaning, but Akokia is what we're named. And my mother's side, Danesis, they are supposed to be from the Benin Kingdom. They have, a name that is most likely going to have a great meaning in Benin, but in the Afema language, I don't know what Akokia means. Akokia's, the last of their, my grandfather's own siblings died this year in November. I never got to visit to find out the meaning of Akokia, but it's a popular name. Once you enter Edo, you enter my town, you find Akokia villas everywhere. We're a loud family. We're very large. And we don't apologize.
Unapologetically.
We are unapologetic about whatever we have. We allow, we party, and we're very, very Islamic too. But I have been able to, calm, to do a bit of calming with my religion.
Wow.
Not exactly Akokia natured, but it's still there, it's in the
person.
Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting, Nymat. Now, tell us about what inspired you to become a lawyer.
A lot of things, but largely based on encouragement from family members. So how you have a child and you think this child has a very, very balanced sense of judgment. I remember one of the things that made my father most proud of me was the fact that I became a lawyer. I remember one of the few fights that we have was me deciding not to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a journalist.
Oh.
Yeah. We had that fight when I said, tired of trying to get the cut off for law. Can I just go take journalism or English and end up a journalist? And just looked at me and be like, do you have ons? Are you normal? And my father is not one to fight me. He will just not talk to me. So when I noticed that, he wasn't talking, we are gist partners, watch the news together, we talk about everything together. And when that was missing, I knew something was wrong. I asked my mom and she said, your dad told me that you say you want to change your course of study because of cutoff. So I think he thinks that you're not being serious. He expects that you push further for it. I just completed the diploma in law. I had a bit of understanding of law. And I felt that was sufficient. I could just move to journalism.
Yeah.
He wanted. So eventually when I got called, one of the most proud things then was the fact that I got called. Yeah. And when I started my practice again, I think that was another hit for him. He really was. So for me, law was about encouragement from people around me. The need or the sense of defending the less privileged. At the time as a young child, I had a different opinion about everything, and it was a very strong one growing up. Among my three sisters, 4 girls, I had a different sense of judgment. I would always come from a point and say, is it balanced? Is it fair to everyone? My father just thought, study law, end up a judge, most likely, and I'll be proud of him. That was what he wanted. He didn't want that talent that he felt I had.
Right.
Thank God. So that was
Thank God, yeah. And then ultimately you got drafted, or will I say, engaged into still be a journalist as a TV talk show host. So you fulfilled all your dreams.
Yes, I did. Eventually, I remember poking him with that information when I had done 2 years on the show, and he said, I knew you're not going to leave that journalism. I knew they were going to take you. I said you knew, but he didn't want me to do journalism from scratch. So we thank God for that. Yeah.
Thank God. So now, how did you get involved with the TVC Your View show?
It was grace. Just feeling the need. It starts with that mindset. So I saw the show the first time. I think the very first week it started to air, and I felt it wasn't balanced. There was a view on Islam that they had, and I thought it wasn't balanced. Then they did another topic on our culture, on the cultural topic, and everybody was sounding modern. I was like, there's nothing wrong with being Africans. There's nothing wrong with our culture. If somebody could just uphold that on the show, instead of everybody agreeing and thinking, it's old school, you have to change it. Right. It does not negate humanity. I think it's fine. So we have cultures we have lovely cultures, part of our traditions that don't negate any form of humanity. It doesn't cost the life, you know, they're beautiful, but we don't celebrate them. But when we cross over to China or Japan, where the things are also strange, or even India, we sort of accept, you know, theirs. So I saw that on the show. I felt, if only I was on the show. It was just a thought.
Really?
It was just a thought. So I kept watching. I loved the show. I didn't want to miss it. Myself and my baby used to watch it there.
I love it too. I love you guys. You are so grounded.
Yes. And then they did an advert that they wanted auditions, but they wanted Muslim hosts because they were all Christians on the show.
Right.
So I went for the auditions, and then the end is, you know, me here now.
Wow. Congratulations. Wow, you got a powerful tongue. Whatever you say you want to do, you do.
So I should watch it.
You're gonna help me get there too. In Nigeria. Yeah. So how has your religion enhanced or been a challenge to you becoming who you are today? And how are you represented, or how do you represent it?
I'd like to think, to hear what others think of what level of representation I'm doing on the show, but I like to be me. My religion has not been a challenge in any way. It's been an enhancement for me all the way. Reason is because I've been able to identify and stand out for the things I believe in. If you look at the show, it's always me alone, you know, with the religions. And so for me, I believe that is an advantage. It's not a disadvantage in any way. I'm grounded Islamically, and I have a personal relationship with God. So usually what people would think was a challenge for me is just, you know, me still conversing with God, or me not wanting to do what I am clear that I will not fulfill my purpose of worshiping in my Creator Islamic, in my religion. And so for me, the religion has really, really grown me, and I want to think that I represent the religion well, based on feedback that I've heard. But I'm still open to more. What I don't want is somebody claiming to be a Muslim and then giving me a personal opinion. So the religion is grounded in the books, the Quran, and the sayings of Prophet, the Hadith, and his ways of life. And if anything I do doesn't conform with that, or there's a clear saying about that it doesn't conform, and that would be an opinion I will take. But aside that, I don't do personal opinions about what people think I should do based on the religion, except you're a scholar, so I look up to.
Yeah, good. Very grounded. you no one's gonna mess with you. So, as an ambassador for Islam, how can you influence your younger sisters globally to be proud of their heritage and stand for who they are? Because you obviously stand for who you are.
Yes, I do. And I think that's enough message for them. I'm always fulfilled when I get the feedback of people. This morning I saw a message on Facebook saying just being who you are has really, really changed my perception about Islam. I get that from non-Muslims, I get that from Muslims a lot.
Right.
But then keep doing what you do. So, you know, my nature is sometimes, I'm a very loud person indoors. When I'm with my family, I can be anybody. When I'm outside, I'm a proper Muslim. I kind of guard, you know, myself, because a Muslim woman should guard her space. So I do that, and I do that on the show. And some people just think, oh no, she's not even trying to be lively. No, that's not me. So I would love that every young Muslim girl watching me every day, you know, first of all, find themselves, identify what you are, who you are, what you stand for.
Correct.
You know, and subsequently, you don't have to apologize for being who you are.
Who you are, yes.
So there's a way you carry yourself that people learn to respect. When you carry yourself with sorry on your shoulders, look down, you know, you just ruin not only yourself, but, you know, people who might be looking up to you.
Up to you, yes.
Yeah, there might be places you are, and the next person to you is simply looking up to you. You really don't know. So back then in school, I remember in school, before I even ever, because I had leadership position all through school. And in my political career back in the university, into my Islamic leadership roles in the university, I just never looked around me to see whether I just knew I had a duty, and I had to keep up to that duty. So every young girl would dare to try.
Yeah, emulate you, yeah.
just did what I needed to do. So first of all, discover yourself and stop being apologetic about it. So if your stance are morality, humanity, and objectivity, or you're a go-getter, whatever it is that you stand for, first of all, be clear about it. The reason is because if you're not clear, somebody is going to give you the of what it is. When you mess it up, you can't then account for it. You feel you failed. But even when you make mistakes as something that you're clear about, you can own the mistake.
Right.
You address it and you continue living.
Move on.
That's most important. You have to have that self-confidence from a point of conviction. You need to have it.
Right. Yeah.
That's what you get from
Recently, we had this issue about a young lady, young Muslim lady up north, who had some issues, and there was something controversial about her. You recall who I'm trying to bring up here?
The actress?
Yes. What does she do, and why would she be condemned?
The northern actress was, she did a photo shoot, I think.
Yes.
Trying to remember her name.
Yeah.
She did a photo shoot with an open back dress. So the back of the dress was open. Yes. Right,
was open, yes.
Yes, and the northerners came for her. The problem for me again is also what I said earlier, being clear. Where you stand. So it's impossible because it's coming from me. So maybe somebody else might doubt it, but from me, it's impossible to find me in an open back dress.
Wow.
I'm too convinced about where I stand to make the mistake and then apologize for it. What I see up north is people do the mistake and then they apologize for it. You go back and you go home, because most people are not exactly where they should be. It's tough. It's not easy. So I'm not judging her.
Right. But do you agree as a lawyer and also as an advocate for women, Islamic women, that she should be condemned as such?
She shouldn't be condemned. It's a matter of free, and it's not a sin that requires any grievous punishment in Islam. Exactly. It's not something that Islam simply requires that we cover up.
Right.
It is to guard us, and if you choose not to cover up, you choose. You're choosing. So you're free to choose. Yes.
Oh, so you got free will, just like we have free will.
I'd like to say this. Yes, I'd like to say this. Some people carry on the punishment for acts that are God, that don't help God, please.
Exactly.
He's more than
God
able
can take
either punish or forgive. And he says in the Quran, I can't remember a chapter in the Quran where you don't find the verse that ends with the most forgiving, the most merciful.
See?
Often forgiving, often merciful. So Allah says he doesn't want the straight hard ones that that don't sin. He's always open, more accommodating of the repentful ones. So repenting is something that is natural to humans, and God Almighty in perfection has created us to be human, so we are fallible. We're fallible. We can make mistakes.
Right.
And what is most important is to find our way back to God. I always say, God, call me back to the good.
Yes.
I'm not perfect. Every day, Christine, I sleep with only the terms, forgive me, O Lord, on my tongue.
No.
And when I start my day like that, because I know I'm not perfect, I'm striving, struggling, until that perfect.
Right.
I know for a fact that I'm not. And sometimes some things will be convincing to you. They're just not open. The entire facts are not just open to you. So you really can also be mistaken on things that you think you've seen it all. So we should always constantly be forgiving of others.
Yes.
And be more accommodating of others.
Tolerant.
Yes. Sometimes give it time. You will come to understand it. There might be a just or unjust reason for someone doing something that the person has learned from. So why are you the ones who want to punish?
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I just thought that that was a little too harsh and unforgiving, for a religion.
What she experienced is not religious. It's Twitter. It's social media. Social media in Africa here, whether the topic is religious or not, it's largely a group of insensitive people who think they know it all.
They know it all, exactly.
Whenever you hit anything there, you're trolled, you're that's the life there. So if you're not grounded to, please don't bother. I am on Twitter with about almost 50,000 followers.
Wow.
And I only post, I don't tackle anybody there. I don't have that time. I don't, guard my mental,
it's not what your mental, yeah.
So what I need to put out, I put out. When you reply me, you come on my page, I don't read those comments. Don't read it. If you put up a nice comment, my PA calls my attention to it. I like it. I thank you for it if I must respond. And I know a few people, I take their comments seriously. I respond to directly. Aside that, I don't do nothing on social media. So what she experienced is not exactly Islam. Because if it was Islam, someone within the family would have called her attention to it.
Yeah.
But what she experienced was her fans and the life of a celebrity and social media. We're just at their mercy sometimes.
Well, good, interesting. Yeah. Recently, and this is why I really wanted to speak with you. You had, unfortunately, I really don't want to talk about it in the new year, but we had this discussion prior, and you had been falling down with COVID-19, so I wanted to find out your experience and how you overcame it, and what advice you have for others. And now that we're going into phase 2, we have to be extra careful because people are thinking it's gone.
Thank you so much. COVID is real. I've seen it. I was asymptomatic, but my husband wasn't. They said the viral level wasn't high enough to accommodate him in the hospitals. I think it was because they were trying to shut down the isolation centers already. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that they didn't keep him, that they gave him, let me go home with him. Because in retrospect now, I see the things that I tried that I think I'd rather do them myself. Because if they had taken him into isolation, I'd have probably given up my children to my mom or my neighbors and gone with him to help him. I think nobody should suffer where they are not cared for. They stop the isolation centers in the extreme, because the doctors also have to wear their PPEs, they can only help. They can sometimes only watch a patient battle themselves out of it. So I think it's not something that I would love to leave my loved ones to. Yes. But then COVID is very, very real. I lost my sense of smell for 3 weeks. Wow. If you put bleach under my nose, it will choke me before I feel it. I won't smell it. If you put my perfume on, if I burnt my food. The first time I was cooking, I sat there, it was burnt.
Oh my gosh.
The whole house, and I didn't smell it. My husband had to say, but see, the amazing thing about COVID is he didn't lose his sense of smell.
Yes, but different for different people.
Up onto purging, he had feverish, and he had shortness of breath a few times.
So how did they overcome that?
We had to resort to self-remedies, home remedies at home. I did the juicing of some of the herbs I know. These are normal herbs our mothers used. Yeah. The normal they treated typhoid. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any method to use. COVID doesn't have a cure. I was online, I Googled, I did all of that. And I had to help myself. So I called on my mother-in-law, they brought in some herbs because we really couldn't go out. We locked up ourselves inside. I have amazing neighbors. They did the shopping. They dropped it at this
Wow.
I had everything I wanted. I paid for my fruit up my head, and they delivered fruits every day. So the children, myself and my husband stayed indoors. We wore our mask because the children didn't test positive.
Oh, thank God.
Both of us tested positive, so we wore our mask around the children. I tried initially because my test result, that was one of the Nigerian problems. My husband's test had come in early after 7 days. The children came after 4 days. Mine didn't come until 10 days.
What?
So, I kept guessing, did I have it? Do I not have it?
Yeah.
I have it. So during that time, I was the messenger between the father and the children.
Oh my goodness.
Put them in the other room, cook and serve them. But we did it. It worked. And everything. I really appreciate the fact that I had the opportunity. I call it my first bonding time.
Finally, you get to spend time with your husband and children all by yourself. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but it's it's a blessing too, a double-edged blessing in disguise. But what's the situation now in Lagos? I mean, I hear you might be going for another lockdown, but do you still have the isolation centers?
Okay, so there are some restrictions. There are no more public gatherings. No, but not exactly a lockdown. I think economically it's not favorable for any state or even the country
to lockdown.
Lockdown. But I think a lockdown is what we need. It's knowing what COVID is, and then with the description of the second wave, a lockdown is what we need. We're just, we just don't have it all. We're a country that we're not advantaged at all. If we lock down, people will die of hunger. If we open up, people will die.
I know.
Street all die and die. That's something to kill, man. So decided to help themselves find what they'll eat and deal with COVID if it comes.
Yeah.
But people are largely loose on the rules. So
I see weddings still going on with 500 people or more and no face masks.
Wearing a mask is still strange to people.
Oh my goodness.
It's still strange to people now. And we had the initial lockdown in April. We've had COVID since February. We have PR, we have all the public enlightenment and all of that happening about it, but people don't believe it. It's not far from how governments have comported themselves. Government is not always sincere, so they will make an excuse. They will make a rule, they'll break it with an excuse. And so people also break the rules with excuses. So it's a tough one for us here in Africa, but we are thankful for the kind of genetic, whatever,
makeup that you are, that we have.
Maybe diet or something, but we're not just falling down as much as other countries
like here in America. But I also found something very disturbing, and that's the fact that the people had to pay so much exorbitant money to get tested. So now nobody wants to get tested because first of all they can't afford it, and then secondly, if they get tested and pay that exorbitant money, where are they going to get money to treat themselves? So what are we doing about that?
For COVID, initially in Lagos State, where I got tested, testing was free.
I know. And
testing, when we did the calculations, for one person was about 50,000 for the 3 tests. The initial budget that the government did.
Okay.
But if I say no, I think it was 30,000 for 1 test, and you needed 2. So let's just say 60,000 for 2. Now, government saw that they couldn't continue to fund that and stopped funding. So people now are required to go to private test centers to pay 50 per test. Now, if I have to pay for a test, I'll have to pay again. That discourages a lot of people. Even the initial testing. So you can have someone sick, lose their sense of smell, really weak, have shortness of breath, and they'll tell you it was a cough I had.
My gosh.
That is another policy that is counterproductive, where those are people to things that I think government should have done whatever it took to have testing. Yes, government should have done whatever it took to have testing free, because some of these test centers where they pay the 50,000 might not necessarily be doing the PCR one.
Okay.
If I drop my samples and the person rather would do, what's the one they do? I think is in Senegal. One of these African countries had a test, a faster test. I can't remember the name for that kind of test that they do. So now people like that can take 50,000 because we are Nigerians and we know how people are very, very, very positive. Very, very smart people when it comes to business. Somebody might not necessarily be doing a PCR test for somebody for that amount. And as long as government cannot guarantee what testing reagent and what type of test they're doing, government should own the entire testing.
I believe so.
And make sure that people do the right testing so that we're getting the right results rather than just spending money. Because whether you like it or not, this is an opportunity for some people to make money.
Of course. Everywhere in the world, I think that's happening. Well, I'm glad that you're finally recovered. I mean, you're well. Your whole family is well. We thank God for that, and we hope that we will not see this disease again ravage people, the way it did in 2020. What do you think, hypothetically, the future holds with regards to this pandemic? Do you think there's an end in sight? And what do you think of this vaccine?
My friend Dr. Tosin Goje got her vaccine yesterday in the US. It gave me hope that people would eventually get there. But the way we live in our country, before the vaccine goes round, we might have lost a large number of this generation if we are falling as other countries like Brazil and other countries are falling. But then, I think there's hope, there's an end in sight.
Yeah.
We do eventually get vaccines out, and the vaccines are good and they're not creating further side effects. We'll get this behind us. Just is not immediate. I don't see it happening overnight.
All righty. So now I remember we had an interview, and the very next day, TVC was burning down.
Yes.
What a horror. You know, I was just saying to myself, I said, I just had an interview with this lady right in that building, and the next minute we're talking something else. What's the situation with EndSars now, and what did you think of the whole situation?
EndSars was a laudable, purposeful initiative. I feel proud to be a Nigerian at the time the EndSars started. Whether some people support protests or not, the issues are too many to be ignored. So for me, hashtag was a goal for 2020, but then it got hijacked. Some people who lack foresight on the proper purpose of this started to take advantage. So, you know, this is why I said Nigerians are smart people when it comes to earning money. People take advantage. So we saw people who belittled the lives taken by these police officers arbitrarily and decided to use the opportunity to enrich themselves, loot, vandalize, and do a lot of harmful things to themselves. So yeah, some people came and burned down TVC under some form of slogan, forgetting that this is an employment for workers across the country. And they burnt it down. They also went to business places around Lagos, looted, burnt some government-owned businesses, millions, billions of dollars wasted away, things that they could never have built in years
themselves.
In a very, very short time. So I think those people should be found, wherever they're found, prosecuted. But the issues of hashtag EndSars, the police brutality, you know, it's a whole lot. Government, bad administration, bad leadership, you know, the consequences for the big, different laws for the small, the less privileged, some people having more status than others in society, some heads more equal than others. Those kind of issues should be discussed, especially nepotism when it comes to employment.
I know.
Across the country. These were some of the issues of the hashtag EndSars. People's lives should matter. People's lives should have value. And killing up north doesn't change the killing down south. The killing down south doesn't change the killing up north. All lives matter, you know. So I think that's what's most important. So I believe in the hashtag EndSars.
And where do we find ourselves now today? It's been quiet.
It's not dead. We still see some people trying to have it. The government is very, very much afraid of any protest now being hijacked because of the level of insecurity in the country.
Correct.
And they're afraid, you know. So they're not allowing protests as it should. But I think whatever the protest that has happened, if a government is responsible and responsive,
just addressing
agitations that they saw during the hashtag EndSars, and they should not excuse any agitation as being, as being unimportant. Every single agitation should be given a very critical assessment and sincere commitment to working it out. Because today is the poor, tomorrow it might be you, it might be you. So the system is not really favorable to anybody. Let's not deceive ourselves. These are issues that we must address, and I think we should address them as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Well, I do hope that they continue to work with those protesters and young people, and I do believe that it should not be let to be swept under the rug, because it looks like that's what's happening, kind of. But hopefully we will be able to get rid of this brutal and oppressive system that we call leadership in Nigeria. On a lighter note, Nymat, what's your favorite food again?
On the jam and groundnut soup.
Yeah. You told me. Yeah. And who's your favorite artist in Nigeria these days?
Made Kuti.
Made? I never heard of him. Him or her?
Made Kuti is the first grandson of Fela Kuti.
Oh, wow.
Very, very intelligent young man. You need to sit with Made.
Oh, wow. I will. I'd love to. I'd love to.
You should check out his music online.
Okay. Where is it based in Nigeria or the UK?
It's called in the UK, but it's in Nigeria, based here now.
Okay.
And it's promoting a new music that is out there.
Wow.
It's free your mind.
Good. Glad to hear that. One of the lineage from the Fela era is coming back. One of the people, one of his children. That's fantastic. One of his grandchildren. Good. Now, because I like to do traveling with my show, I always say one of these days I'll pick up my friends who expressed express the desire, your interest to go to certain countries. So what 2 countries in Nigeria and Africa would you love to visit and why? Besides Nigeria.
I've been to Ghana.
Okay.
I've been to Ghana. I'd love to visit trying to get the name of this country. My dad was a travel lost. Yes, we called him Wanderlust. He loved to travel.
Okay.
Try to see a lot of countries. I'd love to see Sierra Leone.
Okay.
I'd love to see Kenya.
Oh yes, Kenya is nice. I heard. Yeah.
And Egypt. Yes.
Okay. Why would you want to go to one of those places? Say Egypt, of course.
Egypt, because of the history. So many history there that I read as a child.
Nice.
Sierra Leone too. Some of the histories I read from books borrowed from the British Library by my dad. The rich history of West African people.
Right.
I've been to Ghana, so I'd love to see further up west. And Egypt, because of the history.
Yeah.
In one of the countries that you had the history largely described is Egypt, because of the pharaohs and all of that. So I'd love to just go and see for myself. Yes. Yeah. Some of the things I read are praying. Yes.
Now, what would you like your legacy to be? How would you want to be remembered?
That I made impacts, that I changed lives. I'd always initially I just had a legacy for my daughter. When I had an only child for a while, and it took a while to get her anyway. So I really wanted to live my life. I wanted to be, if I cannot be anybody's role model, hers.
Okay.
Whatever I did, I wanted to be a proper role model. I didn't want her to look far to find someone to look up to. Yes. So I want her to see me as someone who made impact. I want her to see me as someone who changed lives. So in my when we had the lockdown, I'll take her to my shop, my storehouse, and then we'll take out a bag. I'll say, okay, today let's just do 2 bags, give it out. And she'll join me in bagging in 5 kgs, 10 kgs rice that we're giving out. And then I'll sometimes say to her, give it out. Because I noticed she used to keep everything to herself. No, it's mine, my space, my bag, my this. It's wonderful to have someone to give.
Yeah.
Sometimes we live in a lonely world. We don't even have someone to share anything with us.
Exactly.
It's a wonderful feeling to have someone to give. It's wonderful to be able to give. So I'd love to, beyond that impression I think I had made with her, give her the impression to make and touch lives in a way. I always pray to God to bless both of them with the knowledge to change humanity
positively. Yes.
So I constantly pray for that. I have a son now and my daughter. I don't want them to just grow up and think selfishly that life is about whatever they
about me.
So for them, the kind of life of those inventors, people who made the planes, the people who made the rails, that's the kind of life I wish for them.
Amen. Amen.
When they go, whatever they've created to continue to be of use to the entire human race.
Yes. That's good. If every mother thought about that and did that for their children, I'm sure we'll have a much better world. A lot of and this is something we'll discuss again. I'll call on you again for this. I'm finding a lot of disturbing stories from Nigeria. I mean, the story about a Deeper Life child that was emaciated because of lack of food and all kinds of things. That's another topic for another day, but it's something that disturbs me greatly. And also some of the women and our parents on how to treat their children. It's everywhere. It's not just in Nigeria, everywhere. But it's something that we all have to get together and discuss, because we have to move away from a certain way of parenting. Our parents did a bit, some job. We have to do better, and they have to do better. But thank you so much. I really truly enjoyed having you again, and I love that you were able to fulfill your promise to me. I thank you so very much. That speaks volumes of who you are. So again, Mrs. Nymat Akashat Zibiri, I thank you so much for being on my show, Unveiling Africa, and we wish you a wonderful, wonderful new year with you and your family at the TVC Your View, and give my love to the ladies. I love them all, and hopefully one day we'll get to interview them as well and meet them too.
Yes, I can arrange that. Thank you so much, Christine, for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for being a very part of my 2020.
2020. Thank
wonderful
you.
2021.
Thank
So
you. You too. You too. Peace out. Love you. Bye. That was my interview with Mrs. Akashat Nymat Zibiri, and she just gave us a few insight of who she is and what she plans to do for mankind. We hope you enjoyed this interview and hope to look forward to many, many more interviews this year, and with meaning and purpose. Thank you. Again, subscribe, like, and view my TV show, my shows. Because of you, I exist, and because of what we share, we hope that will bring some beauty to the world. So Happy New Year again. Happy 2021. God bless. Love you.
Thank you for watching our shows. We aim to please and bring the very best of Africa to you, and we hope that you will continue to enjoy our programs. Reach out to us on our social media handles, Chris Unveiling A for Instagram, Unveiling Africa YouTube. Please subscribe, so we can bring you more shows, and tell us what you want to see on our shows, because of you, we are. And we thank you always for letting us into your homes. Thank you. Chris Unveiling A on Instagram, and also reach me on my Facebook, Unveiling Africa. Thank you. I'm your host, again, Christine Daka McCary.